What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for coming back to watch another podcast. Like I said in the intro, I'm here with Tyler Berzizi, a young realtor at Exit Realty True North. So we're going to be talking with Ty, going over how he became a realtor, what he's currently doing in the market. Thanks for joining us, Ty, and looking forward to talking with you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me on the podcast, Carter. Appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. So I guess yeah, if you want to tell the viewers and give them a brief introduction of who you are, how you became a realtor, just a quick intro, a brief intro, and then I'll dive into some of the questions.
Cool. So, yeah, I'm Tyler Brzezzi. So I've been a realtor at Exit Realty for about 3.5 years now. So I started just before my 22nd birthday. So I was like 21 at the time.
Yeah.
Young fella, wanted to be a realtor since I started university.
Yeah.
And here we are now, 3.5 years later. I am top 10 under the age of 25 for Exit Realty North America.
Love it.
And I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm keeping it going, and big things coming hopefully
Yeah.
this year. We'll see what happens, Carter?
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, I guess you said like right out of I guess university you wanted to be a realtor. If you kind of want to dive into the before becoming a realtor and what that process was like for anyone who maybe wants to be a realtor or is watching this, like, debating whether they should get their license or the process of getting their license. I guess, did you literally always want to be a realtor, or what happened before you got your license? Did you like want to be an electrician or something and then you're like, I'm just gonna get my real estate license? Like, how was that process?
Yeah. Man. So listen, so I was in business school at the time, like business school but let me backtrack. I was in
Yeah.
high school and I was
Yeah.
taking business classes at the time. So I knew I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. Like growing up, I just hated when people told me what to do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I have to be in control of what I'm doing. So I was taking business classes, knew I liked it, went to university, started taking like a business program at Algoma.
Okay.
And then I still couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. I was thinking I wanted to be like an accountant one day.
Yeah.
I don't really love that either. I
Yeah.
have more of a high energy personality. I can't really sit at a desk for too long.
Yeah.
Um, so I was hanging out with one of my buddies. I was in first year university. We were in his basement watching sports, and he goes, "Man," he goes, "you need to be a realtor. I can see your face on a billboard." And that was like when the seed was
Yeah.
planted. And I thought about it, and I kept thinking about it. And I knew
Who was the
someone.
buddy?
Sam Travellini is his name. His sister's actually, her office is right beside mine. So he
Really?
convinced her too. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I know. Um, so once he said that to me, I made contact with the right people on how to get my license. And it's like it took me about a year to get my actual license. And now that I'm an agent, it's a lot different than I thought it would be, but in a better way, to be honest with you.
Mhm. Okay, that's good. So you finish like your first year of business school at Algoma and then you had got your license and kind of just went full force into real estate, or did you close like a certain amount of deals and you're like, okay, like I can, do this. I'm not going to do school anymore. Like what was the turning point? Was it like right when you got your license, you're like, okay, I'm done school, I'm going full into this, or what was kind of that? How did that work?
Yeah, so I was in university for about for 2 years, and
Okay.
then once I decided that I wanted to get my license, I said, I'm actually gonna step back from university. I'm gonna go to college and just get a 2-year degree instead because it'll speed things up for me. I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
start sooner rather than later. Did 1 year of college, and then I said, actually, maybe it's just quicker to get the license at this point because then I can make some money and
Yeah.
pay for college, whatever. And then I got my license, and I'm actually so happy I went about it this way
Yeah.
instead. I actually wish I didn't go to university or college,
Yeah.
to be really honest with you. But like
Mhm.
it's a good thing because when I was in school, I did get a lot of general knowledge about the business. Like I took general marketing, general accounting, all those things. So it's enough knowledge to know how
Yeah.
to run things.
Yeah, it's still good to have, you know, some knowledge, and then even like learning the skills like the time management stuff and like just going to school, being disciplined, stuff like that is just like traits that you kind of like use for the rest of your life, which is, you know, good. There's always something to take away from you know, something or anything. So that's good. But so you got your license when? Like what was the date like when you finished, you wrote your last exam, when was that?
I want to say it was like July 2019.
Okay, awesome. So you got your license, and then what's next? You have to figure out the brokerage you want to go to, or did you already know that you're going to go with Exit, or what's like the next step after that?
I knew from day one I was going to be with Exit. Like,
Okay,
and
nice.
I tried some other brokerages out, but this was definitely the best fit for me.
Yeah,
Um, so it's funny, like it's like you finish, you're going through the exams, and then you finish the exams, and it's done, and you think like you're just going to start making money right away, and it's
yeah,
not like that at all. As soon as I finished my exams, it was like, what do I do now? Where are all the clients? Where do
yeah,
I sell these houses? Right. And that's the job, is finding the clients and knowing how to
yeah,
service them. But the hardest part of the job is finding the clients, building your
yeah.
client base, right? So as soon as I finished, um, I had like my broker, he had a listing and someone had contacted him about this listing to go view it. So I went to that house to show these people the home for the first time.
Yeah.
And looking back, it's so embarrassing. Like the way I was talking to these people and what I was recommending to them.
You're probably just like the typical like young like male like young teen. You're probably like, yeah, so like this could probably be like a bedroom, like
Yeah. Like, what do you say? I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. Right. So
yeah.
I remember at the end of the showing, I was like, hey, if you guys need a realtor, I'd be more than happy to help. And they're like, yeah, okay, do you have a business card? I was like, yeah, I have a business card. I was so excited to get my business card. They never called me again. But with experience and with time,
Yeah.
like I kept doing open houses, trying to get clients. And then I think it was 4 or 5 months later, after getting my license, I closed my first deal. And it was like, wow, like the
It's
coolest thing ever.
electric.
Couldn't believe that I had done it.
That's crazy.
And yeah, my first year I closed, I think 4 or 5 houses, like nothing.
That's wild.
Uh, yeah,
Was it a first full, it wasn't a first full year though, right? Like, are you saying when you started in like July, was it like half year? You're saying the year after like your first full year?
um, my first full year, I think I did like 5 or 6 houses.
Okay,
That's
nice.
it. And then COVID started.
Yeah, that was electric though, wasn't it?
COVID?
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
it? Where was it last year? I guess last year it wasn't technically COVID because what was the year that was like electric? That was last year, wasn't it?
Last year, since COVID started, pretty much
Yeah.
has
Yeah,
just
yeah.
been
Yeah,
flying.
yeah, yeah.
Flying. And COVID was crazy because when COVID started, I thought I was gonna like be out of business. You know what I mean? I said, wow, uh, how everyone's wearing face masks, we're
Yeah, yeah,
quarantined. I'm thinking,
yeah,
how am I supposed to get in someone's house and show them a house and make a sale? And
yeah.
here we are now. And who would have thought, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, that's crazy. Well, I guess to step a little bit away from the business aspect of things, we'll jump back to that. But just to go more the personal route and get to know a little bit more about you, I'm curious as an entrepreneur because you got your real estate license. There's no salary and stuff like that. What are some of the things that you do? Like, what's your morning routine like? I like asking these questions because I'm just curious as to like what everyone does. Like certain things. Like what do you do? Like, are you an early riser? Do you just wake up late at like 12 and just kind of work till like 2 o'clock in the morning? Like what's your sort of routine look like, or what would be your like perfect routine?
Yeah, I actually like I'm very bad for routine because
Yeah.
in my business, like every day is different, right?
Mhm.
So I'm typically up at say 8:30, but when I'm up at 8:30, first thing I do is I grab my phone, see if I have any missed calls, missed
Yeah.
texts, missed emails,
Yeah.
get back to those people right away. And then it's like the typical hop in the shower, put my clothes on, go straight to the office.
Yeah.
Um, when I'm at the office, I buzz around, ask people if they have new listings coming up. Like my job's very social. I'm
Yeah.
the to know guy, the kind of the connector, right? So
Mhm.
it's very important for me to be social. And once I'm at the office, every day in real estate is completely different.
Yeah.
Morning time is mostly getting back to people, a lot of
Mhm.
emails, texts, and then in the afternoons is when I schedule appointments. So
Okay.
is prepping for those things and getting
Yeah.
back to people, but the afternoon is actually when I'm out viewing houses, valuing houses, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so it's always different, but you kind of have some structure when it comes to like booking the appointments or whatnot. But I'm sure it's pretty sporadic when it comes to like people wanting to view houses and working with buyers because people work. So I'm sure you do a lot of stuff like off of their schedule, like when they can go see the house, like on the weekend and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, like, a lot of people think that when you're in real estate, you can make your own schedule, and that's true to a point, but you
Yeah,
really do have to be based around your client's schedule a lot of the time.
for sure, for sure. No, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
guess to date, what like how's it been with learning from you mentioned like going and showing that property was like nerve-wracking because like what do you what do you talk about when you're showing the house like you don't really know. I guess
Yeah.
how's that process been like what's been the biggest learning experience so far as like showing the property like you've now learned and mastered that aspect of like what to talk about in a house like certain things you want to point out what's been your biggest learning experience so far like after what's it been now 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Um, it's tough to say. I think the biggest learning curve for me was realizing that I'm not so much a salesman, I'm more of an advisor.
Yeah.
So when I am viewing these houses with people, if I don't like the flooring or I don't like the paint or I don't like the
Yeah.
house itself, that's not my decision to make. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's my client's decision to make.
Hmm.
So I had to take a step back and let them appreciate the house for what it is,
Hmm.
make all the necessary disclosures, and then I give them my opinion on value,
Yeah.
right? Um, so a big thing for me was taking a step back from acting as I was a salesman and becoming more of an advisor that way. And another thing I realized that was super important is like what comes out of my mouth is so important in my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really have to watch what I say, and when I
Hmm.
do say certain things, I need to speak with intention. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Makes sense. What's been one of the like, I guess, a failure that you came into this that you overcame, like whether it was like listing a place, like what was one of the scariest moments, I guess, or like a story when it came to like going to get a home evaluated and you're like, man, I have no idea what I should be like doing for this, like stuff like that. Or did you tag along with the broker at the start a lot?
No, I was thrown to the wolves, man. Figure everything out on your own, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so I think one thing that I realized was when I first started and I was trying to get clients,
Mhm.
one thing that I would do is I would I wouldn't set expectations from the beginning.
Mhm.
So when you don't set expectations from the beginning of your interactions with clients, it can lead to miscommunication down the road. So now one thing that I do is when I go to the house, if I think the value is at 300, but the client thinks it's at 400, you
Mhm.
know, I let them know right then and there. I think this is where the value is, but
Yeah.
if you want to list your home at 400, I'm more than happy to. So I have to set those expectations. If they do list at an overpriced, they need to know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of working with the clients. Like at the end of the day, it's not my job to sell. It's my job to sell their house, but it's ultimately their decision if they actually want to
Yeah.
sell their house and what they sell it for, right? So it's just, once again, it's taking that step back, setting
Mhm.
those expectations from the start of the conversation, and
Mhm.
it makes for a much smoother transaction the
Yeah.
entire way through.
Yeah, it's cool. No, that's something I just learned recently. I didn't know that the client could, like, if you said you wanted to list it at this price and they just said no, like I want to list it at this, they can like do that. I didn't even know they could do that.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And sometimes I'm surprised. Like sometimes we get what the client was wanting,
Yeah.
right? Like my job's just to advertise it from there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been surprised once or twice for sure, but normally
Yeah.
when my recommendation, it's
Yeah. Pretty.
sell them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in, I guess, your role, your business right now, and sort of how are you going about tackling it?
That's a good question, Carter.
Mm,
The biggest challenge in my business, it's always getting more clients.
mhm.
Once I have those clients, um it's like how many balls can you juggle at one time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
How many clients can I deal with at once?
mhm,
And the top producers obviously are able to get a lot of clients and maintain them all at one time.
mhm.
So I've been trying to grow my business by doing things that are uncomfortable to me
Yeah.
because they are uncomfortable for me. They're uncomfortable for other people.
Mhm,
So getting on the phone with strangers, cold
mhm,
calling, trying to get clients that way, like me realizing that's an uncomfortable process.
mhm,
Um, it makes it like it makes me want to do it more.
mhm.
Um, so that's one thing that I've been doing lately is cold calling, internet leads, of course. It's
Yeah.
that's like a huge that's like a foundation of my business.
Mhm.
And yeah, and from there it's the time management thing. So scheduling is so important to me.
Yeah.
I have my calendar, it's on me all the time. Every single appointment, 30 minutes, everything that I do is in my
Mhm.
calendar. Yeah, you only have so much time in a day, right? So
For sure. Yeah, I
yes.
guess doing the things that you essentially don't want to do are usually the things that move the needle in your business the most. So yeah, like you said, doing those uncomfortable things, like me and you were having a conversation, like you just text me about filming the content, like that's not something that you love doing, getting in front of the camera and stuff like that. So doing that stuff you only get better at, and that's the stuff that usually most of the times the stuff you don't want to do that usually moves the needle the most in your business because the stuff that you enjoy typically kind of just you enjoy it for a reason. So
Yeah.
no, that totally makes sense. Um, Jumping a little bit back to the start here, but I forget what you mentioned. Did you always? I know you didn't always want to be a realtor because your friends sort of planted the seed for it, but was there something else you wanted to do, or did you not really know what you wanted to do? Like, did you want to be like a lawyer? You just kind of didn't know. You're just going through high school, going through the motions, stuff like that.
I was going through high school. I was going through the motion. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to be some sort of entrepreneur, run my own stuff, and I wanted to be in control of
Yeah,
my output and input.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
it.
for
And
sure.
it was the perfect fit.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So year one, 5 deals.
Yeah.
Year two, what did that look like?
I think I closed on 25 homes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
25 homes. Last year was a little more, 27 or so.
love it.
This year we want to try and double that, of course, right?
Yeah. So what's the I guess yeah, what's the goal for this year when it comes to I don't know if you're a big guy of speaking things into existence, but
Oh
so
yeah.
what's the goal for this year as far as so you said you did like 27 last year, so you kind of want to do around like hopefully 50 or 45ish 50 somewhere around there.
I'd really like to do 50 homes this year if I can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh that comes from a lot of phone calls, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
We're working on it.
A
So
lot of
50
content, a lot of phone calls.
exactly. So like 50's one a week.
Yeah.
That's like it is hard to do in the business, but if you can manage those numbers, then it's only up from there, right?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome, especially coming into the spring market here. We'll really see what's possible, and if we start, you start posting the content, doing everything that you say you're doing, I don't see why you can't hit 50 or go farther than that. So that's awesome.
I'm thinking so too. Yeah.
Yeah. What occupation other than like, or I guess profession or job, whatever, or even another business would you like to own, or profession you'd like to be, like anything besides real estate? What would be like the next best thing for you, like a surgeon or a lawyer or something like that? Like what would be your next best?
Yeah, definitely not either of those things. Those would be super cool, but yeah, I would not be able to do those. I would love to own franchises.
Yeah.
Like a McDonald's, a Tim Hortons, you can't own a Starbucks, but I would love to own a Starbucks, man. That'd be so
Yo, you look like a Starbucks owner.
I thank you. I'll take that as a compliment 100%. I'm at Starbucks every day. That's the thing is like it's just I don't care what kind of business it is. I just enjoy running a business, being in control again.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be a franchise. Like that's something that hopefully would do in the future. I'd love to buy something and maintain that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So we're gonna go to some sort of off the wall questions here because these are my favorite. I like to just go totally off the wall with these ones. But
All
if
right.
you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? And I guess like why would you want to live there?
Nice. Switzerland,
Yeah,
100,000%.
Switzerland.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. The mountains are like so cleansing for the
Yeah.
soul. Everyone, the cows roam free in Switzerland. Like
So you've been to
that's
Switzerland, obviously.
I have been, yeah, it's gorgeous. So yes, Switzerland's end game, but give me some time, maybe I'll end up there.
Not a lot of real estate in Switzerland to sell.
Not a lot of weird, no, definitely not. Retirement plan.
So like retires in Switzerland, sells like a $30,000 like shed once a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, that's all I need. That's all I
Yeah.
need. Open a
Uh,
Starbucks
yeah.
there.
If you could have coffee with any historical figure, any person, celebrity, alive or dead, who would you want to have coffee with? And I guess, yeah, why would you want to have coffee with them?
Um, Tony Robbins would be very
Okay,
good.
that's a good
Very,
one.
very, yeah, like life coach, super
Yeah,
inspirational person, big on affirmations, big on mindset training. And that's super important in both life and business, I think. So he's a wealth of knowledge. I'd love to sit down with him or Patrick Bet David. Um,
yeah, I like
he's
that one.
really good too. Yeah. Another guy like business coach, wealth of knowledge. And really has a good grasp of the way to go about your life. Like he has very solid life principles, and I
Yeah.
really respect that. I'd like to learn from someone like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think if you sit down with any of those guys, you just instantly like 100x.
Yeah, yeah, easy.
I could only imagine like the pressure, like going for coffee with like PBD though. Like I'd be like, that's like scary.
I'd be shaking.
Yeah. So, favorite trip you've ever taken? I'm assuming that would be Switzerland.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Easy. Yeah, that one's
Uh,
easy.
if you won 10 million tomorrow, you have to buy something materialistic. What is the first thing you would purchase?
It has to be materialistic.
Yeah. So like it's
Wow.
yeah.
Never been asked that.
Yeah.
Um, It would probably be like a watch, like
Yeah.
A
I like it.
Rolex or a Patek Philippe. That's
Yeah.
three watches,
Yeah.
and they appreciate in value.
Yeah.
So, like, that's probably where I'd be putting the coin.
I like it. I like that answer. Yeah, I'm a big watch guy. I'd like I mean, I don't have any cool watches, but like one day I'd like to get a couple. That'd be pretty cool.
And yeah, I don't have any cool ones now, but you can give me some time again. I'll be rocking it in Switzerland and Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So a couple I guess this question sort of like what do you think things are going to look like in real estate for like, I guess in like 10, 15 years like with all the AI and stuff like that coming out. Like I already know a lot of realtors like or just everyone in general, a lot of businesses starting to use like chat GPT to like write descriptions, like help you out with, stuff for the houses. Like I know a lot of realtors, all realtor.ca descriptions are probably chat GPT now if I had to guess. So I guess what do you think it's going to look like in 10 to 15 years as far as like AI helping you guys out with certain tasks and certain jobs? I don't think real estate will ever be a fully AI job because unless there's like a robot showing houses and stuff like that, I think you guys should be pretty good. But what do you think that's going to look like?
I know I've definitely thought about that because
Yeah,
for obvious reasons I thought about that.
yeah,
Um, it's tough to say, like as you said, I don't see realtors necessarily going anywhere, but I see there being maybe fewer and fewer realtors. Um, but it's a service-based industry, and people, I think we need that face-to-face contact. And I'm the same way where if I'm like buying a car, I personally like to talk to somebody. I like that.
mhm,
Um, and when you really trust the person that you're working with, it goes a long way in terms of like what you think like value should be, and you get opinions on things. And um I see certain things being automated for
yeah,
sure, but we've already seen that in the real estate industry a little bit with like
yeah,
Zillow. who tried to,
Mhm.
they didn't necessarily try to take real estate agents out of the picture, but they tried to automate the process a little bit. And I don't think it went extremely well for them.
Mhm.
So that just kind of shows that there is still a need for like face-to-face contact in the service-based industry. I think realtors are going to be okay. I think there's going to be fewer and fewer though.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
What's a key? I'm always curious about this for everyone and all their businesses, but what's a very like key moment that sticks out to you in throughout the last 3.5 years? Like whether that's just like some super funny moment or a moment where you're like, okay, like this is like crazy, like this is actually like possible, like I'm gonna be able to sell real estate for the rest of my life, or like, oh my God, I just made like a crazy sale, like a massive sale. I don't know, what was some like turning point key moment where you're like, wow, like this is insane?
Honestly, when I got that award saying that I was top 10 under
Yeah,
the age of 25,
yeah,
like in my business, especially being so young and
yeah,
into real estate, like I'm constantly comparing myself to like other real estate agents. And a lot of these people have had 15, 20 years in the business. And I'm always wondering, like, why am I not producing the same amount that they are?
mhm.
And, no one's ever um patting you on the back or telling you you're doing a good job, really.
Well, yeah, because you're just by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You're your own business, right?
Mhm.
So when I got that award, it was like a big confidence booster. Like, and it made me affirm more success in my own head. Like, wow, I am on the right track.
Yeah,
That's like it was a really good like affirmation for me
hmm,
in a way. So to
yeah, it
have
gave you
that,
like that sense of security almost. Like, okay,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing some things right here. Like, I'm on the right track at least.
Yeah, exactly. I stopped being like not necessarily down on myself because I wasn't down on myself, but it opened my eyes to maybe like, okay, in I might be able to be very successful in this. As long as I keep my head down and keep doing the things that I've been doing. And I've been growing and stuff as well. So that was a huge turning point for me, gave me a lot more confidence. And I think confidence is so key in anything you do in
Yeah,
life. So
for sure.
mhm.
I guess for anyone watching this that is maybe debating on what they want to do, or they're in high school or something like that, what's one piece of advice you would give someone that sort of is debating becoming a realtor? Or they just started out in real estate. Like, what's an advice you would give someone who's just starting out in real estate, young like yourself? Because obviously you're still young and whatnot. But what's a piece of advice you would give them on what they should or shouldn't do?
I think I think something super important is to be like nice to everyone and
Mhm.
to be empathetic. Like don't I learned that when I was like 15 years old. There was a business owner that took me out on a car ride and he told me, he said, Tide, if you want to be successful in high school, you need to start being good to everybody. Like
Mhm.
don't ever put anyone down. Don't be mean to people. And
Yeah,
you can't be perfect 100% of the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
But he did say, like, if you do these things, people will look up to you. They'll remember that in the future and it'll make you well connected. And I started doing that when I was 15, 16 years old. And it actually has come around like completely. Like now that I'm in business, I am well connected without having to try because I just was naturally in high school trying to be well acquainted with everyone.
yeah,
And other jobs that I've had, just it flowed through my personality a little bit.
for sure.
So now I'm in a position where I am kind of set up before even getting my license. I felt set
Yeah.
up. So I think that's super important for anybody in business is to be good to everyone, be empathetic with people,
Mhm.
and that makes you well connected.
Yeah, no, I totally agree because people remember you for how you made them feel. So it's kind of like the number one thing is like, how did that guy make me feel? If, I felt like whatever it may be, everyone's going to remember you for just how you made them feel. If you made them feel great, you compliment them, whatever, they're going to remember you for that guy that, made them feel good about themselves that day or just did whatever. So I'm a big believer in just doing stuff like that too, making, people feel good.
100%.
That's awesome. Well, I guess I already asked you, what are your goals for the end of this year? You want to get to 50 deals by the end. That's awesome. And
Mhm.
I guess, yeah, where can people find you? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, stuff like that. Where can they find your content, your stuff if they have any questions and whatnot?
Yeah, Instagram, it's Tyler Berzesi. Facebook, first name, last name, same thing. YouTube is going to be coming very shortly. And I'm assuming we're going to do it under Tyler Berzesi. What do you think, Carter?
What was that?
Are we doing it under Tyler Berzesi, you think?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it under the name. I think everything else is so. Hopefully, we can get that handle. We'll be producing some day in the life content as a young realtor, going to listings, prepping for listings in the office. You guys can expect all content like that. Neighborhood evaluations. That'll be coming very soon. Once we get some decent weather, we were going to do some stuff, but we're in Sault Ste. Marie, so the weather was, we got hit with a storm in the middle of April, so it wasn't exactly ideal.
Yeah, it was brutal, but we're working on it.
Well, sounds good, Tyler. I appreciate your time. That was awesome. I'm sure a lot of people got a lot of value and obviously some insights on what it's like being a young realtor and starting out, what they should and shouldn't do. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys coming back to watch another video. Subscribe, like, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.
Cool.
Beauty.